Well, get this number. More than a third of Americans between 45 and 64 are considered empty nesters. This is according to the Population Reference Bureau.
So that's when all of the kids have officially moved out and parents or guardians, they're home alone. And experts say this can bring on feelings of grief, of anxiety, even a little bit of loss of identity. Psychotherapist Niro Feliciano joins us now. Niro, there's actually a term for this, empty nesters syndrome. How does that affect a parent or a guardian mentally?
So you said the word, it is a grief. Grief is not just about death, but it's when we experience all those feelings associated with losing anything significant. So sadness, loneliness, loss of identity, some disorientation, and certainly some anxiety and even depression can accompany this phase. It should work itself out within a few weeks, but major transitions like this take anywhere from 3 to 6 months, so you have to give it a little time.
3 to 6 months, okay. Yeah. What are some of the upsides of parents who are guardians who are experiencing this empty nester syndrome?
Well, I think you both know this. Raising kids these days is full court press.
Yes.
It's coordination. It's so much time. It's lack of sleep. You get all of that back during this time. You can be the focus of your own life, your relationship, maybe cultivating intimacy again. And then at any point when we are faced with uncertainty, that's where we grow the most. So this is a growth time to rediscover identity and purpose for this new stage of life.
And hobbies, even socially.
Pick up some pickleball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I left, it was like my parents became these social butterflies.
Right.
They were out every day, like couldn't pick up my calls. You know, they were out having cocktails. Right, exactly. Are there any tips for parents who are facing, you know, the pending moment of their kids leaving?
Yeah, so there's a few things that you can do. One, take a minute and reflect. The reason your kids are doing well and thriving and growing is because of the love you put into them. They have the confidence to be able to fly, so you can own some of that. And then we also want to reassess. Who were you before kids? What did you want to do at this phase of your life that you thought was so far away, but it's going to be upon you in a minute?
It's right around the corner.
Can't even think about it.
And then plan. What do you want to do? Hobbies, travel, maybe think about a new career. And what I always say, because it can feel overwhelming, is prioritize. Pick one thing at a time. The surprising thing is, I wrote a book 1.5 years ago. This population of empty nesters and people who are retired were a surprise population that I didn't know benefited from this book, but it helped them to navigate purpose during the season and find contentment, even with those feelings of loss.
Niro, I like what you're saying about preparing. You know when the kids may be leaving to go off to school or to their first jobs or whatnot. So there are some things you can do in advance of that. What about that relationship with your child once they move out? How do things benefit from a little distance and a little space?
So the majority of families I've worked with over 20 years, even the most tumultuous of teenage parent relationships, have improved with a little space. All of a sudden you let go of the small stuff. You have a little space, the kid realizes, oh, I had it pretty good at home. And mom was right about this. I've had parents come back to me saying, Niro, you said this would happen, but it's better. I've never talked to my child so much. So that space can benefit both the parent and the child. And your relationship is going to grow in new, beautiful ways. This is a new season. And just trust me when I say there are new, beautiful things that you're going to discover with a little time and distance.
Which is interesting you say that, because the truth, the kids are changing too. And sometimes that parent-child dynamic can shift towards friendship. You know, my mom would always remind me, like, I'm not one of your little friends. But, you know, there is an element of friendship, right? Like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful piece once you've invested in your kids that they want to come to you as a friend. They still need a parent.
Right.
And you'll know those times, but feel free now to enjoy that friendship, to be a friend to them, and let them navigate it. You know, put it out there. When do you want me to call you? Let me know when now is not a good time to talk. Start making a list of all your favorite places that I can take you to when I come to visit. Do it on their terms.
All right, this is all great advice as usual. Psychotherapist Niro Feliciano, thank you so much, Niro. Great to see you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right, and stay with us because you're watching NBC News Daily.